We're back and you're watching News Channel 3 live at 9 on this Monday morning. Shelby County leaders are divided on whether improvements at juvenile court go far enough. And an independent report out just this morning says they do not. Now, earlier this year, county commissioners voted to ask the Department of Justice to renew its oversight.
And the executive director of the criminal justice nonprofit Just City has commissioned a report that indicates there are still deep problems at juvenile court. Josh Spickler joins us now live. Good morning, Josh. Thanks for your work and your time this morning. In your estimation, this report, which was done by a consultant during the original oversight, has some major problems. Name 2 or 3 of the areas you feel most troubled about.
Yeah, thanks, Mary Beth. Thanks for having me. I think the biggest finding from this report is that we lack a system at all. The Josh Perry, who drafted this report, who wrote this report and did all of the research, said one of the biggest problems is that we're not getting information from all the stakeholders and using it and being strategic about it toward a real system that keeps us safer and that treats youth fairly. I think a couple of other findings are still the number of children that we transfer, the number of youth we transfer into the adult system is still far and away more than anyone else in the state. And this report shows that that doesn't always keep us safer. In fact, most of the time it's doing more harm than good. I think another thing is certainly the disparate numbers that we've seen in transfer over the last 10 years, and that is almost exclusively black children. One of the consultants during the original oversight said it's very difficult to even compare numbers because not enough white children have been transferred over the 10 years. So we don't even have a way to compare it, but lots of other detail in the report, and happy to talk more about those too.
So in order for us to have a true youth juvenile justice system, what will it take? And have you gotten enough feedback from the sheriff or maybe the court itself on this?
Yeah, well, the report uses the term black box, Alex, and that has been a frustration for a lot of stakeholders here in Shelby County, including the Countywide Juvenile Justice Consortium, which is a board appointed by the county in the wake of the DOJ's departure that was sort of tasked with keeping its eye on this system and getting data and understanding what's going on there, but we don't. It remains a very difficult place to get information from. And in terms of the stakeholders like the district attorney, like the sheriff, they did not contribute to this report despite repeatedly being asked, even being sent questions to respond to. There was no input from them. So that's very discouraging because what we need most of all is transparency and the cooperation of these stakeholders so that we know what's going on.
So put in, give us an example of this system problem, the fact that we don't have a real system. What does that mean for, you say it doesn't keep us safe, quite frankly. What does it mean? Give us an example of how that impacts that child and thus the community not having a full system.
Yeah, I think one example would be, the public defender's office began to take appointments in juvenile court for the first time in decades after the DOJ arrived. And that is better. And the report indicates that children are getting better representation in the juvenile court system today than they were 10 years ago. But the public defender's office only represents about half of the children who are charged down there. And so that leaves another 50% who are represented by private attorneys under a so-called panel system. And the panel system is under the supervision and direction of the court still. And that lack of independence and those really 2 separate systems of representation lead to different results for different children.
If a child can afford, if the family can afford a private attorney, they may get better representation.
And Josh, just one last thing very quickly. In order to maybe make or have potential change, what will it take? I mean, are just your average person, are they going to have to get involved in this, or what do you think will be needed?
Well, it's going to take leadership, and it's going to take giving I think giving the Countywide Juvenile Justice Consortium more authority. The report has several recommendations. It's not just a criticism. It's a roadmap for how we can do this as a community. And it involves leadership from the highest levels of the county, leadership from the district attorney, the sheriff. The court itself, of course, is the most important. There are already things in place, and the report lays that out, and we just have to own it and build a better system. We deserve better. The report says that everyone the author talked to wants more than the minimum, and we can go do it. We just have to put our minds to it.
Because we've really been talking about this issue for a long time.
And commissioners have asked the DOJ to step back in. They have not responded yet. Should they? Yes or no? Have we gone that far?
Well, they should. They should. I doubt they will, but it would certainly help. It helped the first time. It would help again.
All right, Josh. Thank you very much. Good to see you as always.
Thank you.
All right.